Hey, so this is Dakota, and we're having coffee in the woods without the coffee. I didn't even bring water. I'm dying of thirst. I'm going to have to go to the creek and drink some water. This question is from Fran, who says, Hi Dakota, is it possible to be compassionate with people and still not feel overly responsible for their happiness? Absolutely. Fran, it sounds like you are an empath. It sounds like you could use some work in boundaries, which are in the west direction, the alchemist soul archetype. And yeah, so absolutely, feeling compassion for somebody and not having to fix them, not having to be responsible for their happiness is huge. So here's what happens. This is what I'm reading between the lines. When you have an excess amount of energy in the south direction, then you tend to be a codependent. And you also don't have boundaries with your empathy, your empathic skills. So codependents, they want to fix everybody. They want everybody to be happy and be settled and be okay and, take care of everyone. And if they do that, then they feel better about themselves and they can, okay, everyone else is taken care of. And if there's any time left, then I'll take care of myself. So there's a couple things about codependency, and if you ever, I get on this spiel a lot, but when you're codependent, you tend to overstep and take away somebody's power. You're essentially saying you do not have the capacity to be happy on your own. You don't have the capacity to do this for yourself, so let me do this for you. And that it disempowers people. I mean, more than anything. So when you can pull that energy out of the south and divert it and put it into either the east or the west, which is where you usually have a deficiency, then you can you become more interdependent, and you can pull that energy back, and you can be with somebody in those vulnerable places. You can be with them in their pain and within their their tragedies, their trauma, their suffering, as well as their joys and their happy and their great moments. And you have this space around you that protects that energy, keeps it right here, so that you don't have to take that on. You don't have to be responsible for it. You just simply hold space. And holding space is much, much different than anything else that, even, when we're younger, I don't know how old you are, but when I was in high school, I was the president of our peer listening group in high school. And we all had to take listening classes, reflective listening, which is, I hear you saying, I hear this, and it's like this whole, you repeat back to them, you regurgitate their words basically, without telling them how they feel. But holding space for somebody is much different. It's being able to be in that silence, to be a witness, to hear somebody's story, to hear the struggle and the suffering and the pain. And you simply just give them the space to be in that, to be authentic and raw and vulnerable, because how often are we given the opportunity to really be heard and not have to be fixed and not have to be advised? The number one way to shut somebody down is to give them advice. Oh, you should do this. Oh my gosh, you should do this. You'll shut them down. You'll shut them down completely. It's like you don't even hear what they need. And and I'm saying you as a general you, there's a lot of people that fall into this category where, the moment somebody starts speaking, they already have the story in their head. Oh, I'm going to tell them this as soon as they take a pause, I'm going to fill up that gap and just say blah, 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 and give them advice and tell them what's done, and I have all the solutions for them. No, you don't. You don't. You don't. Nobody does. I know in my life the people who like to give me advice, and they have no clue what's going on in my life because I don't talk to them. I don't want that. I don't want advice. I don't want somebody to fix me. But what I need is a sounding board. Sometimes, and I've got, some really deep, soulful friends who hold that space for me where I can just let down all my armor and I can be Dakota. Not this Dakota that's right here in this camera. I can be this Dakota inside that is sometimes very scared and lonely and hurt. And these few people will hold that space for me to be able to just do what I need to do, whether it's cry or scream or regurgitate all the feelings and emotions that I'm feeling. And at the end, I'm met with just silence. Not silence as in I'm not here silence. Silence as in I'm here and I'm holding this space. I'm here and I'm holding this space. I'm here. And I'm simply holding this space. That is the greatest gift you can give anybody. Because inside of us, we all have the capacity, the wisdom, the knowledge. We have everything we need to find our own happiness, to find our own answer, to find our own wisdom. We have everything we need. We don't need someone to do that for us. We don't need to be disempowered by somebody. I'm getting teary-eyed because this is actually, it's a really sensitive subject for me because most of my life I grew up not feeling heard. And mostly it was because I didn't have the confidence within myself to speak up. And I spent a lot of time by myself. My entire childhood was spent out in the woods by myself. But at the same time, that was where I really learned that I have everything within me. And it breaks my heart when I see people trying to fix other people. And it breaks my heart when I see somebody shut down because I'm watching them being witnessed by somebody else, and that other person just wants to fix because they have this extreme codependence. And it's their own narcissistic codependence, their own lack of self-esteem that doesn't enable them to hold that space for somebody else. So, I mean, sorry, that sounded kind of harsh. And I don't mean for it to. So to answer your question is that you can hold that compassion. And actually what I take from your question is that there's a deep level of love within you that wants to see somebody be happy. And that's beautiful. That's, we can, oh, we're getting crows. We can wish that for others, certainly. And we can hold that space for that to happen. But in that deep listening and in that holding that space, you really give that person an opportunity to step into that happiness on their own. And sometimes, quite frankly, people aren't ready for that. They've got a lot of soul work to do, and soul work is messy. Soul work is suffering and trauma. And I had somebody ask me recently, why? Why do we have to go through so much suffering and hardship just to grow? And my answer to her back was that, we do things that are messy because that brings us to life. It's like, when you are riding the roller coaster and you're just itching up that hill, and that's not fun. That's no fun. You're waiting to get to that top so you can go boing and start going all the way around and upside down and blah. That ride is what we're there for. We don't get on the roller coaster so we can go doo 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 up that hill where everything's kind of easy and slow. And then, we go down the hill and we're holding on for dear life and we're screaming and we're, scared and all these things. And then what do? We get off the ride and we get in line and go do it again. Not because of that hill. We do it again because we want that stuff. And that's how life is. We may not realize it, but if you were to live a white picket fence life, the Stepford wife life, you'd be bored out of your skull. You'd be creating drama just to feel alive. So anyway, that got off on a tangent there. Short answer, yes. You can hold the compassion. You can be compassionate for somebody and not have to fix them. That would be ideal. So anyway, if you have an interest in learning more about all this kind of stuff, go to our private Facebook group and join. This is a lot of the people on there are folks who are really doing what they can to grow their soul and learn things like this. There are also, people who are waiting to get into our next mentorship program. So anyway, it's a great place to land and start digging in. Okay? Thanks for the question. Bye. Hey, so stick with me for just one more minute. I've got something really exciting to tell you, that we are just now going to be opening up a private, super private Facebook group for just a very select people who are very interested in this kind of work. So what we're planning on doing is doing some light teachings that will kind of coincide with what we do in the mentorship, to give you a little taste test of each of the directions. And so for 9 weeks, out of each time that we go around the medicine wheel, we will re-embark on a new direction and give you some challenges and some fun things to do that will kind of line you up with that energy of the medicine wheel. I'll also be doing a live meditation every single week, and we call that Trance Tuesday, so you can guess what day it's going to be on. And in addition to that, we're also going to do, in August, we're going to do a 21-day gratitude challenge. I can kind of foresee that in the fall time, we're going to do a 21-day soul detox cleanse. We'll do 21 days of ritual. We're just going to do all kinds of stuff. So anyway, this is an invitation-only type Facebook group. It's a closed group. So if you want in, then go to the link below and let us know that you want in, and we will make sure that you get a personal invite. So again, go to the link below, get your personal invite, your little golden VIP card, and join us. We're actually going to be starting meditations now, so they probably, by the time you see this, have already started. So get on there and come join the community. Now, wait, before I let you go, before you hit that stop button, this group, this Facebook group is, I want the energy to be super high, and I want it to be really authentic, and I want people to show up. So if you're just joining the group just to have it on a tab on the sidebar, it's not going to be worth your while. It's not going to be worth my while. I want people who are engaged. I want people who are really interested in learning this work. So if you know somebody also that you think would fit that, then please give them this link and let them kind of join up. Or once you're in, you can invite people in as well that you want. But really, I'm very protective of my groups, so please come join us if you really feel called and led to. All right, I'll see you in Facebook or in another coffee. Bye, guys.